Virtua Fighter on the Sega Saturn is such a strange game. By the time it came out, it already looked dated and laughable. The game was also so poorly made that Sega felt the need to release a remix version soon after and compensate customers who had bought the original. But despite this, it holds some mesmeric charm over me. The early 3D graphics, the characters that look like they've been designed by a panel beater, the impenetrable gameplay, for a 9-year-old anyway, there's just something so appealing about it all. I will not pretend to be a die-hard fan of the series, or that I'm any good at the game, but I have a very meaningful fondness of it, which I think is wrapped up in nostalgia and memories of a simpler time. These are some of those memories, and of the approaching 32-bit generation of consoles. New consoles just don't seem to have the same excitement as they used to. In a world of mid-generation refreshes, pro models and gaming PCs relentlessly driving technology forward, it feels like we only see an incremental improvement when a new console launches nowadays. Gone are the days when your new console unlocked a giant leap from 2D to 3D graphics, from cartridge to CD or standard definition to high definition. Instead, now we get Digital Foundry telling us that the old games now run on the new console at a locked 60 frames per second with some improved reflections in the puddles. It's hard to convey the excitement there used to be in unlocking these great technological bounds forward in a new console. As we approached the launch of a new generation in the mid-90s, I can remember there was a great debate amongst my brothers and I as to which console we should get. Having mostly played Sega games in the arcade, I was firmly of the opinion that the Saturn was the way to go. However, I was outvoted, probably wisely so, and we ended up clubbing our money together to get a PlayStation 1 on release day in September 1995. I was 8, almost 9 years old at the time. While time has clearly shown we made the right decision and we had great fun playing Ridge Racer and Wipeout, I was still so eager to own Sega's console, something I would not achieve until the end of the console's life as it was being sold off cheaply. Just like the excitement of Mario vs Sonic in the 16-bit generation, this seemed to be a time of an amazing rivalry between Sega on the one side and Namco Sony on the other. For me, this time period is defined by great series rivalries such as Ridge Racer vs Daytona USA, Tekken vs Virtua Fighter, and Crash Bandicoot vs... Bug? I have two distinct memories of first encountering the Sega Saturn soon after it launched in July and before we had bought the PlayStation, which made me crave the console so dearly. Firstly, I can remember being in Toys R Us and they had Daytona running on the console in attract mode. The TV seemed to be turned up to 11 because from anywhere in that shop you could hear Secondly, was walking into Game, a UK retailer video game shop, and seeing Virtua Fighter projected on a big screen. I was amazed that this console seemed to actually bring the arcade experience home. I wanted this so badly. To me, Sony was an unknown entity, and Namco arcade games just didn't seem to be as prevalent where I grew up. To my mind, Sega and Virtua Fighter were the way to go. Let me reiterate that while I love this game, I am terrible at it. So if you are watching this video to see some excellent footage of precise blocking and counter flurries, you will be sorely disappointed. I don't think I've improved this since I first played it when I was 8 years old. To be honest, on a scale of 1 being easy to 10 being as hard as getting my children ready for school in the morning, this game is way up there for me. I know you are meant to perform little blasts of attacks and use your block effectively, but for all the game professes to be a more realistic interpretation of martial arts, you can still win a round with a good old repeating low kick waiting for the computer player to walk into you. So why did Sega feel the need to remake the game and offer it to disappointed customers? What is exactly wrong with it? Well, in short, the graphics were glitchy, characters seemed to clip in and out, and sometimes whole bodies just disappeared. However, the gameplay was awesome. The music is seriously great and the characters had lots of personality, despite them looking like they were made by a sculptor with an obsession for right angles. Speaking of the characters, let's meet the cast. Akira, the poster boy of Virtua Fighter. I find it interesting he is Japanese and uses Kung Fu. Is that common in Japan? Wow, he is a Kung Fu teacher and his hobby is Kung Fu. God, he sounds boring. I wouldn't want to be stuck in a lift with Akira. Pai, an action star. Her hobby is dancing. Interestingly, she is from Hong Kong, but her father, who we'll meet in a moment, is from China. She's probably the easiest character to use for ham-fisted novices like me. Lao. Pai's father and a traditional martial artist. He might seem like a strict dad, but he's a softie at heart, with a smile that deserves to be on a police register somewhere. I'm sure his hobby is meant to say Chinese porn, not poem. Wolf, the karaoke-loving Canadian wrestler, with an eyebrow curl so menacing it would make Jack Nicholson cry with envy. He's all about power moves, clotheslines and suplexes. Jeffrey, the big burly Australian reggae-loving fisherman. Jeffrey brings a unique fighting style to the roster, which consists mostly of grunting. And I'm still convinced there's an E missing from his name. Cage, a mysterious ninja with a dark secret that he likes to play mahjong. I love Cage and I wish I was better with him. I always hated that in the third game they dressed him in some kinky chainmail silver trousers and black loafers. He looked like he'd come straight from some Italian swingers party, mask included. Jackie, a race car driver with a fiery attitude and hair so spiky it could put your eye out. I always thought of Jackie as the Ken to Akira's Ryu. He had some cool moves, especially his quick kicks. Sarah, the sexy sister of Jackie. This game really is a family affair. Now I know she may look like she was designed by an artist with a personal vendetta against the female form, but by the third game she was officially hot. So hot that Sega had to fireproof their arcade cabinets. Just check out these images.
Now you're ready for a night on the town.
Homer, you've got it set on whore.
Finally, there is the boss, Dural. Dural? I never knew how to pronounce their name, which is ironic because I was never quite sure what this was meant to be. It's some sort of androgynous metal alloy? The wife of the T-1000 perhaps? If I'm completely honest, I have no appreciation of what the lore or story is behind Dural. I've been meaning to get hold of the old Virtua Fighter anime series to learn more of the backstory, but it's currently 40 quid on Amazon and my wife keeps telling me I need to stop wasting money on frivolous things and prioritise feeding the children. Ugh, selfish. This game is just dripping in mid-90s charm, and seeing those early 3D graphics combined with the rocking soundtrack is like wearing a warm blanket knitted from pure nostalgia. This game, alongside other greats such as Virtua Racing, were just such incredible milestones in the arcade. And it was magical to me, despite some of the poor ports, to have this Sega machine that could bring versions of Daytona, Sega Rally, Die Hard Arcade, Virtua Cop and Virtua Fighter into the home. I cannot explain how many pound coins I sank into the Virtua Cop 2 machine with my eldest brother at the local bowling alley. I used to hold the gun sideways with one hand thinking I was straight out of a John Woo film. So, in wrapping up, Virtua Fighter on the Sega Saturn may have had its share of problems, but it remains a nostalgic gem for many. The characters, the music and the overall experience captured a monumental leap forward in gaming, something that seems very hard to replicate today. Thank you for joining me on this trip down memory lane. If you have any fond memories or experiences with the Virtua Fighter, feel free to share them in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell for more gaming content. Until next time my friends, keep gaming and reliving those classic moments. See you in the next video.